All right. Okay. All right. Welcome back. Welcome. So, ladies, uh, Cookie Puss, am I right? Huh. Anyways, welcome back to my stand-up routine. My name is Richard, middle name Inya, last name Mouth. As you know, the ladies can call me Dick, the gentlemen can call me Richard, and if you're neither of those, well, you can call me anytime. Alright. Hell, it's definitely been a while since I've done this stand-up routine, and I figured I would change up my aesthetic a little bit, what with it being Christmas, you know. I still got the blazer and whatnot, but, figured I'd do something interesting. Put on a Christmas hat, wear thermal pants, or wear Crocs indoors with one foot not having any socks on and the other foot having two pairs of socks on. That's a little hard to tell, but there's two on there, which is one of the benefits of, living in an area of the country where it's cold all the time. Well, not all the time, but at least half the year. Okay. Speaking of the cold, can someone explain why we're having a somewhat warm Christmas this year? You know, I mean, I thought the song was called White Christmas, not Warm Christmas. But it's always fun to celebrate Christmas. In fact, you might be watching this video on Christmas Day right now. And if you are, then let me just say from the bottom of my heart, Happy Kwanzaa. So, let's see, what has been going on in the world lately? Definitely been a lot. Guess I could talk about some sports things. The college football playoff is in full swing. Ohio State, the team being represented on the hat here, will be playing Miami of Florida in the quarterfinals, which is interesting because those two teams don't really play each other that often. Now, everyone remembers when they played in 2002 for the national championship game, which Ohio State, of course, won, but, like I said, they don't really play each other that often, so it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Let's see, some other sports things. John Cena had his last match for the WWE. I think it was kind of an interesting route that they took, especially having a guy who hadn't tapped out in over 20 years tap out in his final match. I mean, Cena seemed all right with it. I mean, it was, the swan song for him and his wrestling journey, as well as the Super Cena shtick that, he had been given. But I gotta say, a lot of people were really not happy with this. And a lot of that anger went towards two people. The first was the ring general, Gunther, the person that John Cena faced in his last match, which, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, the hatred for him kind of makes sense because he did what he said he was going to do. He was going to make John Cena tap out, as he claimed, and, well, he lived up to his promise. The second hatred goes towards the person who runs the company, I guess, Triple H. Yeah, a lot of people are not liking him. And I'm not just saying that because of his association with Trump. Uh, yeah. I don't really know where to go from there. So let's move on to football again. Professional football, at least. So at the time of recording this, we're about 2 weeks away from the playoffs. Things are really setting in stone. It's really hard to tell who's going to be the number one seed in both conferences. It definitely won't be Kansas City because they were recently eliminated from playoff contention. I believe it's the first time in like a decade that they missed the playoffs, actually. And the reason why I bring them up stems from the fact that they announced on the day that I'm recording this that they were planning on moving the team out of the state of Missouri to, I don't know, maybe the Kansas City in Kansas. I mean, logically that would make sense, you know. But, you know, it is very interesting that they would move, especially like, you know, with the timing of them not making the playoffs and whatnot. It's very interesting. It's not as bad as the Browns announcing a new stadium near their airport at a time when the team has like completely fallen to an abyss that they really can't get out of. But it's still pretty interesting. Of course, there was also the rumor that the Bears were planning on building a new stadium in northwestern Indiana, which is admittedly not that far from Chicago, but, you know, they're Illinois' team, and Illinois not having, like, or well, I should say Illinois not being the home to their only NFL team would be kind of weird, you know? Like, it would be like a team representing New York City but playing their home games in New Jersey. Could you imagine? For the winter sports, basketball and hockey, they're about halfway through their seasons. It's still really anybody's guess as to who's going to make the playoffs, you know, because that sport is just very unpredictable. I mean, look at the Pittsburgh Penguins. Like, about a month or two ago, they were like one of the top teams in the league, and now they're struggling to even get a fucking wild card spot, you know? But there's definitely some upside for the Penguins. I mean, Sidney Crosby just set the record for the most points scored in franchise history, so that's pretty cool for them. But you know, as far as basketball goes, I don't really follow basketball all that much, so I'm not really sure of what's going on in there. I do know that Oklahoma City, the defending champions, are one of the top teams, so there's a good shot that they might repeat as champions, or at the very least represent the Western Conference as the champions. I know that the Indiana Pacers won't be representing the Eastern Conference as champions because for some reason losing their star player resulted in the team just falling into an abyss that they can't get out of. You know, like the only instance I can think of that's like somewhat similar was like when LeBron James left Cleveland and the Cavaliers just fell into an abyss that they can't get out of. Of course, I'm referring to the first time LeBron left Cleveland and, you know, took his talents to South Beach. Uh, but, you know, South Beach isn't really what this video is about. This video is about me trying to put a smile on your stupid little face. And I think I know the best way to do that. That would be by telling you 5 Christmas-related jokes that I'm sure will tickle your your ribs, and fracture your spine. All right. All right, this first joke is more or less a question. What do you get when you cross a dog with a snowman? Frostbite. If there are any parents here, I think I know what your favorite Christmas song is. Silent Night. You know, I once attended a birthday party for a snowman. We had to sing a song from the public domain. I think it went something like, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow. Here's a fun fact for you. If Santa Claus was a cat, his name would be Santa Paws. You know what's interesting? I once saw some reindeer the other day. Yeah. They were ordering Starbucks. And those, ladies and gentlemen, were 5 Christmas-related jokes that I'm sure tickled your ribs and fractured your spine. Thank God I said it right the second time. But with that being said, my name is Richard. Middle name Inya, last name Mouth. And as I open the door to the new year, remember, no one is above the law. Unless you're a Republican. Good night, everybody.